Hi, this is Mel, and I'm here with little Mars. Say hi, Mars. Say hi, puppy. Anyway, so he's a year now and finally sleeping through the night, still being a little terror and, making the house oh my gosh, it's a mess. It's a mess. Toys everywhere, right, puppy? But yeah, so finally we're at a stage now where we have, a little bit of extra time that we can put into this again. And we have some indie wrestlers that we hadn't had a chance to get around to doing. And of course, these guys that are super well respected and, I know a lot of people want to hear from and are excited to hear from. Last week we did post an episode with Sick Boy, and that Sick Boy episode, I'm sure you put it together that it happened the night after the match with Sue Young for Area 956. It was so much fun, such a great match. Very eventful night also. Just the whole show was just such a blast. We got to hear from Sick Boy. Obviously, I was dying to talk to him. I find death matches so intriguing. I am so excited to get more luchadores on. I know a lot of people don't speak Spanish and don't understand them, but for those who do, or those who want to learn Spanish, I mean, that's a good way to start, right? Listening to a luchador talk about his deathmatch experiences, fuck yeah. Here we have an episode with Erik Shadows that we recorded 2 summers ago. And we're actually going to get with him again pretty soon. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see where he's at now and where he was then, ¿verdad? So it's kind of a little time capsule type episode, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So hope you guys enjoy and see you later.
It's so weird, other people saying Mel. It's never been that way for the longest time.
You've always gone by Mel?
Everybody just gave me that name. It's just a name forced upon me.
Obviously when we started dating, I was like, oh, Melody, right?
Yeah.
I would introduce this is, I still do this is my wife Melody or whatever. And okay, cool. And after that's done, I would be like, yeah, well, Mel was telling me this. And then they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
do you prefer Melody or Mel?
It doesn't matter, honestly. It's just a name. It's okay, but it's just so weird hearing somebody say Mel. It's what? Who?
Yeah, the first time he was messaging me, he's like, "No, yeah, I was telling Mel." I was like, "Oh, really? She didn't tell me anything."
Yeah,
I was like, "Why didn't she update? Why didn't she update me?"
Something to get used to.
We started having to say my Mel.
Yeah,
yeah, my Mel.
She's the Mel from before because she was part of the wrestling community from back when her and Erik started dating. Erik was already wrestling
Yes,
before you and I met, baby.
Mm-hmm. The OG Mel.
The OG.
Yes, boom, boom, boom. 10 years, guys. 10 years.
Time to pass the torch.
No, well, Erik, how long have you and I known each other for? Has it been 14, something like that?
I remember walking into the training facility. You were in the ring grappling already. And I'm like, oh, crap, this guy's... Okay, so I would say 13, 14 years.
You started
2011.
2011. See, I started 2010, just 1 year before you.
I could have sworn you were in already 2 years.
It feels like 2 years. The thing is that I had been training prior to that for maybe 3 years, maybe, but not consistently. It was spread.
I could have sworn you told me oh no, I've on and off 2 years, but yeah.
See, no, by the time you came in, we were about to start Wrestling Revolution at Cine El Rey. Because you were part of the very first Wrestling Revolution standalone show.
Right.
That was in Roma.
Oh, that was fun.
2012?
2011.
2011. That was your first. Okay, shit.
It was 2011 because I remember it was the 4th of July.
Okay, yeah. The 4th of July festival.
It was the baseball field.
And that was your debut?
No. I remember I debuted in Mission at the flea market.
Okay.
And then you made some moves and you said, hey, Roma's going to have a thing for 4th of July. I think we should take an opportunity and do it. And I'm thinking, okay, yeah, cool. And then when we got there, I was like, oh, this is the first big crowd. So that was the first big crowd that I saw. We drew them.
Prior to that, Erik, we were doing shows for other lucha promoters. We were doing shows for Mike Salinas and then other guys like him. Luna. And this is the first time that it was a Wrestling Revolution show with just us. Yes. And you were the first match. That's what it was. It wasn't your first match, but you were match 1 that day.
I was match 1. We were the match to bring the crowd to the baseball field because everybody was ready for the fireworks. And I'm like, nah, let's start a fight and let's drag them back over here. And it worked.
At the time, there was a pavilion and everybody had gathered there. Everybody from Roma that was at the park our ring was set up in the baseball field away from the pavilion, and they were going to sing the national anthem. And we were wondering, how can we get these people to follow us or at least come see the wrestling that's about to start? So Erik was going to wrestle Vermin, a guy who trained both of us. And I don't remember whose idea it was. Might have been his, might have been yours. Do you remember whose idea it was?
So we were all wondering, okay, well, how do we stand, And I remember James Dante, he was like, well, the good guys shouldn't be next to the bad guys.
For the national anthem.
Right. We should not be seen near each other.
Kayfabe, brother.
And I'm thinking, okay, well, what if we stand over here? And I think I said, have you in the front since you were the hometown hero. And then I was just there. And then Vermin was like, you remember with his drink and his cigarette, he's like, why don't you and me just start brawling, start going towards the field? And I was like, I'm down. Yeah, let's do it. So then, we started making faces at each other. And then he threw a rock at me or something. And I moved to where the crowd's like, mira, ¿qué están haciendo? And then I heard the lady, and I just winked at him. I'm like, I think we're ready to go. And then
they started planting the seeds during the national anthem, like just saying names to each other, making faces at each other. And then when it was all said and done, walking back to the ring is when all of this happened.
Yeah, I think he said something, because like he remembers when I started off, like I hated being called pretty boy. And he was like, what you looking at, pretty boy? And I was like, pissed off or whatever. And he spit at me, and I'm like, is that the signal? I'm just going to get him.
So it's got to be.
So I just charged him and wham. And then everybody's like, oh. And then we just started fighting, throwing him through the fence. He was scratching me, clawing at me. And then, it was just like Rocky. Just all the crowd started following. It
culminated over at the baseball park. So they drew the crowd by physically beating each other up all the way to the ring. And it worked.
I think I threw him in a trash can. And then like I kicked it over. He rolled, and then he had like some trash still stuck on him, and I remember I was like taking the trash off him, like, oh wait, and then I bashed him, and I was like, no, I gotta keep hitting him. Let's go.
So that and that's one of the many things that I remember from seeing this guy perform for so many years. When I first met him, he came in as this a hot shot, coming in like hard and learning quick, faster than most. And I'm telling you, everybody knew that someday this guy's going to get in the ring, the bell's going to ring, and he's going to know exactly what to do. And ever since then, man, you've been a kick-ass wrestler. Fans around the valley and even outside the valley know who you are, and they respect the name Erik Shadows.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
Take us back, man. Like, so from the very beginning, like, what is the thing that drew you to wrestling?
Finally, it's going to be publicized. This is what people are going to freak out. I never wanted to be a wrestler.
Never.
Ever. I thought about it as a kid, right? Like the first time I found out about it, I was 8 years old. I was just skimming through channels, and I passed TNT at the time. How ironic, right? Now you're working there. And I saw, at the time, it was Chris Jericho versus Eddie Guerrero. And I just remember seeing their gear and hair. I was like, whoa, what was that? I go back, and I was just enthralled. They were just going everywhere. You remember the cruiserweight division back in the day. And I was like, wow. And I remember my dad walking in, and he just smiled like, what are you watching? I was like, Dad, what is this? He's like, that's the mugrero. You don't want to watch that. And I'm like, but what is it? He's like, it's wrestling. It's wrestling. They're not hitting each other. But here I was hearing Eddie Guerrero,
the chops
and the kicks from Chris Jericho. I was like, sounds pretty real. So I was enthralled, and I was like, wow, this is fun. So I mean, we all kind of grew up the same. We would play with our cousins, wrestling in the trampolines, in the yard, in the beds, whatever. But coming back to it, I never thought to myself, that's what I want to do, So I would feel bad in like the middle of my career. I'm like, am I taking someone's spot? But I was like, no, but I love this. Like, I enjoy it, But in reality, I wanted to be a cage fighter. That was my actual goal, because I remember in middle school, I was in football, and first game, it was against like the rival middle school or whatever, and I got tackled by someone that wasn't my teammate. It wasn't practice, and this kid never got off me, and he was like a heavier set kid, and I was getting claustrophobic because I am claustrophobic, fun fact, and he was just, talking like, oh, I got you, boy, or whatever. So I shoved him off as best I could. I ripped his helmet off, and I tried to smash his head in. Obviously, didn't make it through. I think I would have been in bigger trouble if I did. Yeah. So I get kicked off the football team, and I stayed in, but just to run drills and all that every day. And the counselor wanted to do the classic, like, I want you to write your feelings down. They thought I had anger issues, and I guess I did, And my brother that weekend showed me about boxing and everything. He's like, why don't you do this? And I was like, yeah. So I started training in that. Fast forward to the next week of school, I told the counselor, no, miss, don't worry about it. I joined boxing. No, Eric, you're not supposed to do that. But
lean towards the aggression.
Right. And I saw what she saw. She's like, oh, she thinks I'm going to get more violent. But I told her, I was like, I don't know why, but I feel good now. And I wasn't even fighting kids in there. I was just, training, and then I would spar every now and then. I did that for a couple of years, and then I was like thinking, I want to use my legs though. So I joined kickboxing, and I started training with that. And then obviously the UFC, and like I don't know when I discovered it. I wish I would have a long time ago, because I went back and started watching the originals and everything, and I was like, that's what I want to do. So that is what I was focusing on. But I'm like, let me finish high school. So I focused on baseball, graduating, and then I told my brother, I'm like, well, I don't want to join a gym yet, but can you help me train? And he's like, yeah. So we were doing that, and I got like a total of like 5 fights with some friends. Like they would hook it up, like, oh, hey, I found a guy over here, unsanctioned, no weight divisions.
Underground fighting?
Like
a fight club?
I wouldn't call it. I mean, it was close to it, but we had a ref and whatever. So I was doing good until I lost to, ironically, wrestlers. So I had 2 knockouts, 1 decision win, and then one of the coaches was like, hey, mijo, you need to get into wrestling. You should have joined it in high school and all that. I was like, nah, it's fine. I'm going to stand up with the best of them. I'm a striker. That's what I wanted to do. That's what I loved. So the 4th fight, I remember it was this guy from Harlingen. I think I was like 20 or 19. I can't remember. And he was about 26. We were on the same weight. I think he was like maybe 10 pounds heavier than me, but whatever. And I knocked him to the ground, and I always do the whole like get up, whatever. And then he did this little number where he motioned to me like, you come to my world. And I was kind of like not cocky, but I hated being called out like that, like thinking, oh, you don't think I can do it? So I went to hammer him, and his name was Jerry. So impressive. He moved. I know people can't see me do this, but you guys can. He moved like a snake. So quick.
He swerved you.
He swerved while his body stayed on the ground, like his legs stayed there, and he caught my elbow immediately in a Kimura. I started feeling my right shoulder tearing.
Jeez.
Because to this day, I still have like a weird thing with my shoulder, but like I had to fix it on like how to bench properly and everything.
Pinche Jerry.
I know, right? Wherever he is. And I tapped, and I got so pissed at myself. I'm like, I swore to myself I would never tap, and so I trained again and again and again, and then my friends found me another fight, and they're like, "Hey, okay, so it's either he's a boxer, he's out of Bad Boys in Edinburgh. If not, we got a guy that's doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and I think he was out of McAllen."
Were you getting paid for these?
Some yes, some no.
Ora.
Yeah, some yes, some no. I think like the first 2 I didn't, and the 3rd one I did. 4th one, obviously I lost either way, but. And then this next one, I thought, nah, you know what? I was comfortable to say yes to the boxer, but I'm like, let me give it the jiu-jitsu guy. And he put me to sleep.
Yeah.
He put me to sleep. So it didn't drive me away, but the fights took so long. I'm getting to the wrestling now.
Yeah.
So I remember every night I would hang up my punching bag and I would train my heart out, like 45 minutes straight, and then, okay, hang it up, shower, whatever. And one day I just told my brother, hey, man, like, I don't know. I just don't want to do this right now. I'm just bored. And he's like, well, what's wrong, man? Like, you're kicking ass. Like, keep going. And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not feeling it. So at the time I was working at Academy, and I had this customer that they called for me. They're like, Eric, I need you at the team. I was working team sports. Mm-hmm. And I have no idea about soccer. I just know the usual rules. So the guy that was there, he's like, hey, man, what soccer ball do you recommend me? I was such a little shit, man. I feel bad for doing this. So I ripped out the soccer ball out of the box, bounced it, put it in his chest. I'm like, there you go. So I started walking away, and he goes, you know what really gets to me? And I smirked. I'm like, here we fucking go. All right, let's see. I was like, what's that? And he's like, I do kung fu, right? And I was like, okay. And he's like, I can't do that trick where they have the ball, they kick it up, spin around it, and then catch it. I'm like, dude, I've done kickboxing and I can't do that either. And he's like, right. So we go on talking about combat sports for like an hour. And then he mentions wrestling. And he's like, yeah, I have a friend who's doing wrestling. And I thought, oh, cool, like collegiate, like, college. No, it's like, what do you call it? Like WWE? And I was like, no way, right? And he's like, yeah, no, they train at the flea market in Mission. I was like, oh, you're talking about lucha libre with the masks and everything, right? And he's like, well, they do that too. I was like, nah, I'm not interested in that, And I hate myself for saying that because I grew.
It was a different time, way.
I know.
Different experiences.
And I was young, right? I thought it's lucha, they're just flipping and doing all this, like they're not hitting each other. Yeah, they do. Anybody listening, they do. And he's like, well, you should try it, man. And I was like, So I told my best friends at the time, Matt, who's Matt Riot, and his brother Mark Cross.
Mm-hmm.
And I was
geez,
like,
man.
yeah. And I told, hey guys, like, so I found it, and I was like, what do you guys, you think we should do it? And he's like, Matt, this is what I love about Matt. He's like, I'm in. If you're in, I'm in. Let's go, man. And then, his brother, he loved it. So he's like, well, let's go try it. And I remember that night, this is where I, met you, kind of, because I was still kind of like, all right, like, I don't know these guys. I don't belong. Like, let me just sit here and let them come to me or whatever. And I remember it was sketchy getting there because you remember we trained at night, right?
Yeah.
It was Tuesdays at 7.
It would usually be locked up. They would open it up for us to drive in.
Right. So get this. So imagine from my perspective, I don't know this, right? Mm-hmm. So we get there, we follow the guy and his friend who turned out to be his boyfriend. I guess he was like, different times they were kind of like, whatever. And I was like, that's cool, right? So we followed him there, and the old man that would guard it, the one with the little pickup truck, he opened the gate, and this is where we got kind of sketched out. We drove in, following in the car. They close the gate, another car turns on, and then they start driving behind me.
Yeah.
And we all felt the same vibe. I looked at Matt, and I looked in the review at his brother Mark, and then they kind of were thinking the same thing. I was like, okay, guys, look, check it out. I'm going to get out. I'm going to scope the place. If I don't get out in 5 minutes, just get out. Like, just leave. And this is what's funny, and I'm not trying to out Mark, right? But Matt was like, nah, you shut the hell up. I'm coming with you. And Mark was like, wait, are you serious? And I was like, Mark, you and me have been in more fights than I can count. What are you doing? And he's like, no, I mean, I'm going to get out, asshole. I'm just saying, like, you think it's what we're thinking? I was like, I don't know. So then we get to the parking area.
You guys have to also remember that this is at night. It's a pulga. So you see all these stands, like all these little pulga stands deserted. And it's dark. There's no lights on. Mm-mm. The only light you can see is like from the distance in the little shack where we trained at. And muy apenas.
And even then, you couldn't see it.
Sí, muy apenas.
So we pull up to the cars and we get out. And the guy's like, all right, yeah, it's right in there, man. And we started hearing the loud hits. And I'm like, fuck, we just got to the cartel or something, man. They're doing some bad deals and they're getting these guys. And then he's like, go ahead. I was like, you first, man. Let's go. And I started getting mad. I was like, you first. We'll follow you. And he's just like, okay, what are you getting like that for? I was like, go. And then I'm looking at Matt, like, go on that side, in case they try to do anything, we'll close in on them. And then I signaled to Mark, like, we already had our own little thing. I'm like, you in the back, I'm on the side, whatever. So we had them in a triangle, like, surrounding.
In case anybody wanted to fight.
In case they wanted to, we got them.
Turns out you guys were the cartel.
I know, right? Go figure. So then we get in there, and I see, like, all these guys, which are all the luchadores, they were running in the laps. You were grappling in there with Ray Knight.
Jeez.
And we were there, and I was like, okay, we're good. It's legit.
And there's going to be some things that you're going to bring up that I may not remember or that I may remember incorrectly. Mm-hmm. So forgive me, just because my memory is not like the best.
We took a lot of shots there.
We really did. No, we did a lot for free for so long. For pleasure in ourselves, like that's what we wanted to do. It made us happy.
Yeah, and us now would go back and kick our own asses. Like, what are you doing?
No seas pendejo.
Yeah,
everything that everybody told me before that would make me angry and be like, "Oh, you don't want me to succeed in wrestling." It was for my own good.
Okay, so let me take this opportunity, Eric, to ask you maybe like an unpopular opinion that you'd have, like as far as advice for like the new guys, the new generation of wrestling. Mm-hmm. Maybe like a tip that you can give us right now.
Oh, I thought you were going to ask me something.
No, just like for you, like the advice you'd give to the new guys. Like maybe an unpopular opinion.
One thing that I always tell every rookie or every trainee coming in, I always tell them, don't get a big head. Don't think you're big. Can we curse on here?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Is this an adult audience?
Yeah, pee poo poo. See?
Gotcha. That poo. Anyways, no, I always tell them, I don't care how big shit you think you are, you're nothing. You're nothing in this business. I'm nothing. You know, and I tell them that. I'm like, I've been in this, well, as of a few days ago, 13 years now. But I tell them, I was like, I've been here at least over a decade, and I still, I hold myself to a standard. I don't hold myself to a certain value where I look down at others, you know. And it's like my father, like, God rest his soul. He would always tell me, you never look up to people or look up at them. You look directly at them or you look down beneath them, you know, like at them. But that was him, you know, like old school. They were like real, like,
claro.
Yeah, ballsy. You know, I'm not gonna say cagaleros, but you know,
and that's like the macho in our
Yes.
fathers, like the especially that generation, like you said.
Right, and I carry that with me as a man, but I give the people the respect, you know. So like, I'm not gonna look at any company that have their trainees coming up. I'm not gonna look down at them and be like, like, who are they? I'm gonna give them an opportunity on how they present themselves, like the first time. Like I've already been in some lockers where, you know, there's people that have maybe been in here a year or like maybe almost not even, and they're wrestling, and maybe I don't go up to them all the time because I get caught up with like other people that, like, you know, I haven't caught up with in a long time, and I'm just talking to them. But I pay attention. I'm like, okay, this kid hasn't come up and said hi to him, her, me. Or like they'll have, okay, they're passing and they make eye contact with me and they kind of look away. And I don't like that. I'm like, hey, introduce yourself, you know. So my advice to them is, don't get big-headed. Don't stop training once you debut. That's a lot of mistakes that a lot of guys make, is they think, okay, I graduated, I don't have to go back ever. I could just start, you know, wrestling, making money. It's like, no, man, the work doesn't stop. And so that would be my main advice, is don't get big-headed and learn to be humble, you know, especially to your superiors, like veterans. Like even if there's guys that have less time than me, if they have something to tell me, I listen. You know, I think old Eric would have been like, okay, what do you know? Like, what do you know? You can't do this, you know. But me now, I'm the type that's like, no, you know what? Okay, like, what do you got for me? You know, and so open ears, you know.
Mm-hmm.
When do you think that changed for you? Because you're saying like old Eric this and old Eric that. When do you think that changed for you?
Yesterday. No, I'm kidding.
Yesterday.
Honestly, if I wish I can pinpoint the place and time.
Maybe
but
Mel can tell us.
I don't know. I mean, you've seen me change over the
You've
years.
seen the
honestly
evolution?
think- yes, I have, for sure. The
She's-
old Eric was very hot-headed.
I was always ready. I was just
You're
ready.
always like ready for the fight, eager
Yeah.
for the
He
fight,
still
almost
is, but
itching
he's
for it.
more thoughtful towards it.
Yeah.
I think when we had our son,
Okay.
in my opinion, I think that's when it definitely changed, because, you know, you have something to lose. You know, he doesn't want to end up in jail. You know, he has a father he needs, you know, so I
Yeah.
think that's when, in my opinion.
I'll agree with her on that, because I feel like having him changed a lot for me, not just priorities, but mentalities. Because like now, because like my problem, and I'm working on it, and she knows this, is I'm very protective around people I care and love about. Like you two, if we're out somewhere, you're safe. You're safe as hell. Too safe. And what I
And
hate,
we feel it.
and what I hate about me is somebody could just accidentally graze you. You're fine, but I'll be like, hey, are you good? And then he's like, no. You could be like, no, I'm good. Wait, I was like, and I'll stare at the guy, waiting to see if maybe he'll turn back, like to at least say sorry. And when he's turns around, I was like, did you apologize to him? Because I mean, you almost bumped him. Oh, hey, sorry, bro. You know, hey, Eric, you're good. You're good. So that's one thing that I've worked on, which is not as adamant anymore, but
That was
it's,
old Eric.
but it's still there.
And that's the Eric I remember.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, and it's been a long time since we've hung out. But that's the Eric that I remember. And it was almost like you yourself couldn't have fun. Like we felt like you weren't enjoying yourself because you were on edge all the time.
But I was.
Of course. And I would see, like, at the end of the night, like, I could tell that you did enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
In the moment, it's like, oh, come on, Eric, relax.
Yeah, and Matt will account to that as well, because like I literally just sent a GIF to a buddy today, like, or actually to you. No, I'm sorry. No, I sent it to someone else where I was like, this is literally Matt in our past. Like,
Your
and it was
other
like
wrestling hoe.
No, and it was,
what was
and,
it that you told me? Was it one of your other wrestling hoes? I told you who it was.
Wrong bitch.
Wrong bitch.
It was like a dog being held back, and I was like, damn, like I feel bad for Matt, but it's because he's such a good guy that I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna be the aggressor that he needs, and then
Got you out of a lot of trouble.
yes, he really did, because he was the piece that I needed to portray. So we kind of balance each other out. Like if somebody tried pushing him around, oh, they're dead. But if I'm going over the top, he's the one that's like, hey, relax. Do you want to wake up tomorrow in bed or do you want to wake up behind bars? I'm like, all right, fine, you're right.
And that's legitimate. Like, they even not just in real life, but they brought that to the ring.
That's your bestie?
That's my best friend. I've known her for 17 years.
Oh, wow.
Matt Riot. Friend of the show, I heard. Matt went to the first day of training with you.
Yeah, he was there along with his brother. We went, and I remember watching you, and I was just trying to pay attention. I'm like, God, this is weird. Because, like, again, I was used to fighting. And it's hard to transition, believe it or not, you know, to anybody that is listening that has been there. If they know another combat sport, trying to transition to the style of pro wrestling, it's its own monster. So I was watching you and Ray, and I'm like, wow, like, these guys know what they're doing. In comes Willie and Shooter. And I remember I thought, like, oh, who are these skinny guys, right? And Willie was, like, in his hoodie. You remember?
Yeah.
Vermin look.
Always.
Shooter was real dressed up with his tie and his vest.
Just got out of work or something.
I guess, right? And I'm like, wow, like, okay, like, this guy looks good, but who's this guy? What's his problem? And he just, like, flicks the cigarette away. He gives Shooter a little nod, and they get in the ring. And I think they told, hey, can you give us a moment? He's like, oh, yeah, go ahead. And I saw you give them the stage, and I'm like, dude, don't let them tell you what to do. You know, old Erik, like, come on, man, you can take them. And then I just see them just, oh my God, just put on a clinic in like less than a minute, just hitting the ropes, boom, bumping each other, clotheslines, little maneuvers, reversals. And then Shooter gave him like one hit. He rolls out, and he's just looking at him like selling it. And I'm like, Jesus. And I looked at Matt, and he was like, okay, like, damn, what are we gonna? And then Vermin comes and sits next to me, gets another cigarette, doesn't turn it on. He's like, so you're the new kid? And I was like, I would like to. And he's like, okay, well, go ahead and just pay attention for tonight. We'll see what we do with you next week. And then, 5 months later, Erik Shadows was born.
That's right. That's right. You know, and I want to touch on how dramatic things were always at Wrestling Revolution. Like, Vermin knew how to bring drama into real life in such a great way.
Oh, man.
It's something straight out of a movie.
And effortlessly, too.
Everything Erik just said is 100% real. The only thing missing was like a background music or something.
That's it.
You know, it'd be a movie
Honestly.
because they're the type that they have a class that they're about to teach. They know there's new students. They won't say anything to anybody. They'll hop in the ring without saying a word, start running drills. And you don't know if they're selling or hurting each other or fighting for real. At the end of it, they both stand up, look at you and say, all right, who's next? And as a new person, you stay there like, holy shit, that was amazing. Like, you're in awe.
Yeah.
So they knew how to...
They're giving you a core memory.
Oof.
Honestly...
I hadn't thought about that in so long until you just said it right now, and it just played in my head like a movie.
Honestly, I think I give Shooter and Vermin that credit of, I'm in. I saw them do that, and
They
I thought...
sold you.
Yeah, and I thought, if I can do that in front of a crowd, I'm in. Let's do it. And I think that's when it changed, which is funny because, you know, buddies of mine like Sammy, you know, you and like other people that have spoken so highly of the business, like I know I have too, but I don't think I've ever uttered the words like this is what I dreamed of when I was a kid, and I would feel bad, but I do have a love and respect for this business, you know, and there's others that have claimed, you know, like, oh, I'm all about this, but I think I've proven more work ethic than them, and I'm just thinking, God, like, do I belong here because like I didn't dream of this as a kid? But yeah, they sold me on it, Will and Rob.
I think that pro wrestling has allowed you, Erik, the ability to be creative.
Yes.
In an MMA fight, that's like straight shoot. Like you're just there, and you can kick somebody's ass.
Yeah.
And then somebody can kick your ass, and it's just a back and forth. There's no in betweens, and there could be, but the probabilities are lower.
Yeah.
With pro wrestling, you get to paint
There's
the
drama.
picture.
That's
Yeah.
actually a beautiful way to put it. Yes.
You're the artist, and you create this art for the audience, and sometimes for you, sometimes for the boys, sometimes for the people in the audience. You know, you can do anything with it.
And
And-
Erik is extremely creative, so it's definitely helped expand that even further.
Yeah, I've actually, like, present time, I'm actually finding myself having more fun helping the up-and-comers, helping them come up with ideas, moves, you know, situations where they're in, like, hey, next time you're in a corner, try this with a counter. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. I have people messaging me like, hey, like, they'll send me clips, like, what do you think of this? I'm like, try this next time. And then they'll message me like another week, like, hey, thank you so much. Like, it actually worked. Like, hey, no problem. Awesome. You know, and I feel genuine, like, oh, wow. Versus ding, ding, ding. And your winner, the Wolf King. I'm just like, okay, cool. Just another day on the job, right? But no, like, yeah, like I love creating and like helping, tell stories and whatnot. So yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely right.
So what you're saying is, if anyone has questions, they can come to you.
Every time.
Just to
Every
put it
time.
out there.
Yeah, you heard it here, folks, on Lucha por Lucha. Erik Shadows is an open book.
Every time. I think a lot of people misread me, and she's gonna nod her head. They think I'm an asshole. Like,
I mean, you can if you need to be.
But he loves
to
hard
be.
for those that like, he really
I
cares.
really
Yeah,
do.
100%.
Yeah. So like
People
when
misconstrue that a lot.
like nobody, I get bummed when they say like, hey, sorry man to bother you, but like, quick question. I'm like, dude, no, ask them all. Like, what's going on? I will put down what I'm doing, and I'll give a person, like, if they message me like, hey man, what do you do in a situation like this? Even if it's personal, unless it's like family or something, like I'll try to like be replying. But like the moment I do get the time, I go all in, and they're always kind of like, whoa, like he cares. Yes, guys, I do. But it's like, I can't blame my mom and dad for giving me this face and all that. Like, I'm sorry.
Another thing, I'm going to try to go a little back right now.
Yep.
You mentioned the name E Shadows. You mentioned the Wolf King. Now, E Shadows is the name you started with.
I did.
Did you have a hard time getting that name, or what was the process into you becoming E Shadows? Because can we say your shoot name?
Go for it.
And we can edit this out if we have to.
No.
But you are Erik Garza. How did Erik Garza become E Shadows?
So I was just training, and I think it was my first sparring match with wrestling. Danny Chance had already been training there with Ray for like about I want to say like 3 to 4 weeks. They had some time on me, if not maybe more. And we had already gotten the rhythm going and all that. And Danny Ramones, Cherry Popper at the time, he was obviously one of our coaches. So like he was there, and he's like, all right, Erik, Danny, in the ring. Okay, cool. So he gets in there. He's like, all right, we're going to do a straight match, man. So just go with it, flow, and let's see what you got. I'm like, okay, cool. So I was in one corner, Danny was in the other. And then here's Ramones introduced. He's like, okay, in this corner from Chicago. And Danny had the same intro. I was like, oh, cool, whatever. Chicago, Illinois, Danny Chance and his opponent. And Danny's, Ramones' awkward face is like, hey, dude, what's your name? And I was like, Erik what? Garza, you know this. And he's like, okay. And his opponent, Erik was like, hold on. And it was like in a split second, I just started thinking, okay, crap, think of names. So I was like, okay, music, okay, rock, whatever. It's like a guitarist, lead singers. All of this was in like a split 3 seconds. And I thought of like one of my favorite bands, which was Avenged Sevenfold, and like I loved their names. And I thought of the lead singer, Matt Shadows, but was M Shadows. So I'm like M Shadows, E Shadows. And that's where that started. So I didn't really go home and think. I would just go home and be like training. I'm like, okay, I'm not going to get blown in the ring. I'm going to, because like I made sure my cardio was good, but I learned that in-ring cardio was different. So that's what I would focus on. I never thought of like, okay, character and what are you going to do? I just remember y'all telling us either find a gimmick or crank your personality all the way up to 10. So I'm like, okay, so I'm not going to worry about a character. I'm just going to be me. And so that's how the name came up. On the spot, Ramones put me on there, and I was like, damn this guy. I was like, all right, E Shadows, and that's where it started.
And the name caught on. Yeah, it stuck. It caught on. And the crowd would chant it, Shadows.
It was cool. It was really cool hearing it.
Now, from looking back now, I know that we always look back and we're like, oh man, if only I knew then what I know now and this and that. Like,
Definitely.
What do you think along the process through the journey? What has been the biggest lesson that you've learned?
Man, there's a lot of them, but if one stands out to me, I think I should have kept the temper down in reaction.
Okay.
In reaction times. Not in the sense of like temperaments, because with temperament, I cared.
Yeah.
I wasn't an asshole because I was just a bully. I hated bullies. I came up being bullied. So my temperament was for the right reasons, but there was a lot of times where I didn't need to be that way.
Okay.
So I hurt a lot of people when they didn't deserve it, but it wasn't my intention. I mean, hell, dude, I think even with us, I think we've had disagreements because you had certain mentalities and I thought, no, like, how can you forget this? But I didn't understand your growth.
And at the same time, I can look back and tell you, man, I could have done this differently myself.
Maybe, you know, but like, I don't know if I ever apologized to you, but I think we just kind of like, we're men. We just got over and we moved on. But I don't think I ever intentionally stepped on your toes, but there was a lot of things that I didn't agree with, but I do now because I was just stupid and young, thinking you're stepping on us. But I'm like, no, you're bettering yourself. An example, you started taking bookings and making money of all things, right? And I was like, but bro, what about here? You have something good here. But like I said, Erik now would go back and slap the shit out of old Erik and say, no, he's right.
And to your defense, bro, like that's your loyalty. Like me leaving the valley is in a way hurting the boys that stay here because I'm not growing with you guys. And in a way, like that's your loyalty to what's here at home.
But I was wrong. You were right.
It's not about them. It's about you.
It is about you.
Like you were coming from a good place.
That's what I meant to
Erik.
say. Yes, you were coming from a good place.
Yeah,
for
like
sure.
I didn't hate him for doing what he was doing. I just thought, hey man, but like, what about the stories here? Because we were wrestling every Friday. So I thought, dude, like, and I loved working with him. And I would get upset because I'm like, well, who else am I going to work? You know, even though there was a lot of talent. It was hot back in the day. You remember.
It's like a different animal. Like,
it's a different.
It feels different. And not in a negative way. It's just, I want to say it was more cutthroat before because we had to be.
Yes.
We didn't have as many options as we do now.
Right.
So
and it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's beautiful now. So
it's a good thing.
So at the time he was going up and it wasn't jealousy. I was happy for him, but I'm like, but dude, what about us? Like, do it on Saturday, do it on Sunday. And then once I got a call from like San Antonio, like, hey, we would like to work with you on this date. And I'm thinking, okay, yeah. And then once I got a taste of that, I think it was like after my first year, that's where I got a call, and then, wow, that was fun. And then riding with, you know, the boys and making those memories. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And then it was every weekend, Houston, Austin, San Antonio, Lubbock, wherever it was, you know, that's where we were. And I'm like, and that's where that changed for me.
Yeah.
Where I was like, man, you know what? I shouldn't have done that to Alvaro. You know, like, he didn't deserve that. But it wasn't just you. It was like other guys and all that.
It was a growing process for all of us.
Exactly. So that's one thing that changed first. But going back, like, what have I changed? My temperament, man. Like,
okay.
I was always understanding, but I guess my immaturity got in the way of that. So,
you know, and when you started traveling, I remember you were traveling a lot with the NWA group.
Yeah.
Because you and I never really traveled together. Because I was doing the smaller Texas shows. At the time, you guys were doing the bigger Texas shows. The NWA stuff was really popping back in the day.
The only one at the time was NWA Houston, which eventually transitioned back to Lone Star Wrestling.
Orale. Yeah, that's the one.
But other than that, it was like BOW. And then I think, they did start becoming an NWA brand.
And then you stuck around too when WR was NWA. Because I was out of WR during that process. That's when I was doing the LWA shows and the Rudy Boy shows.
Maybe.
I wasn't doing WR for that whole time. But at the time, dude, like it really seemed like WR in McAllen was going to expand to TV eventually.
Yeah.
Like you were there when Bruce Tharp would come in and when they would bring in the big names. How was that for you?
That's when things started kicking up. Because I remember once we got the brand, that's where we started getting out-of-towners coming in. And that's when I met Sammy. You know,
Sammy Guevara.
That's when we finally faced off, and we just hit it off, man. It's like where you been? You know, because I remember he was talking to me in the back, and he's like, "What are you okay to do, or what are you not okay to do?" I'm like, "Whatever, let's do it." Are you serious? What the hell? Like he was like I'm like, what? Like
he was excited to work with you.
Yeah, I was like, haven't you been killing it? He's like, dude, no, I've run into guys that are scared of getting up there and doing all this, and we just went all over the place. And fun fact, we're tied. You know, we're tied 1-1. Yep.
For now.
And now we're both daddies. But anyways,
That's right.
like, you know, that's when I met, you know, Houston Carson, you know, and before he got a Lions Pride, and, you know, Ricky Starks, you know, a bunch of names. AJ Summers, I don't know if you remember him.
Yeah, I remember AJ Summers.
Yeah. So a lot of guys started coming down, and I was like, wow, there's a big world out there. And that's when they started calling me like, hey, like, you want to come up here? I met Greg James, well, Izzy James now.
Keith Lee.
Amazing Barrett
Red.
Brown. Well, Amazing Red it was like years after is where I faced Red, and then Brian Kendrick.
But see, even those years were formidable because like they were bringing in the big names. Because for a long time, remember, it was just the local guys,
and like any out of towners from like San Antonio.
Sí, los que venían, and a lot of times they worked for free. During the NWA or cheap. Yeah. During the NWA days of everybody was getting paid. Those were good years.
Yeah,
I missed those years. I missed out on those years. Pero yeah, man, what would you say was the peak of those travels? Like, any stories that you can share?
Too many to name, man. 2014 to like I think 2017 were like the most fun. I mean, I was traveling like even in 2013 and on, like it was almost every weekend. And I remember thinking back, like, damn, like this is crazy. There were some times where I would wake up and I just think like, I don't want to go, man. I don't want to make that drive. But it was like with Ramones most of the time. So I was like, we were just laughing, having a good time, singing Disney songs, and then to Selena, and then death metal, and then to country. I love them.
A little bit of everything. That sounds like Ramones.
It's classic, man. And so I think that frame is the last of the time frame where I was like kind of on my way out, to be honest, because I think it was in around 2018 is where something just didn't make sense to me. I don't know. I was like, damn, am I done? Am I just
pre-pandemic?
Almost, yeah, pre-pandemic. And I think I talked to you at one of the shows recently about how things have changed. How like there's just, I don't know if it's the mentalities or just the vibes, the batches coming in, and it's nothing against the new kids coming in. They're fucking talented. They're athletic. You know, they're great kids, but it's not the same. And I'm not trying to sound like these old heads, because I hate every old head listening to this too. You know, I don't agree with the ears open, mouth shut. Like, no, because then I tell new kids, like, don't let anybody disrespect you. You know,
the squeaky wheel gets the oil.
Yes, sir. So, you know, you let someone talk down to you, you give them that entitlement, and I don't agree with it. You know, like, obviously don't disrespect them, but you ain't my father, you ain't my boss. Even if you're a possible boss, like, I'm still a man and you still bleed. So you see, there's like, that's my mentality of like, I still know what I can do to you. Don't talk down to me if I'm not talking down to you. So yeah, that's one thing. That's right.
Okay. Now, obviously it's different than the way that we were brought in. At least that's how we're perceiving it, because we're not there when, at least I'm not there when these people are training, if they're being trained softer or whatnot. However, I do remember that you were thrown in to be a coach pretty quickly into your wrestling, right?
Yeah, they trusted me and the three that I trained with, you know, Matt, Ray, and Danny. They trusted us with bringing up the next batches, which you now see the Tony Strongs, you know, the Nelson Nails.
Which to me, that seems to me like the same generation as you, but no, that's not the case. They came in after you. You trained these guys.
Yeah.
I remember that.
And, you know, here and there, I'll have the opportunity to work with some of the new kids coming up. So, you know, if I hope they learn something out of it, because I'm still the hard coach. You know, I still kick into like the old football mentality. Hey, no, come on, you can do it. But it's all because I care. So
if any of these guys were wondering, like, well, what's it like to be coached by Erik Shadows?
I mean, if we can call one right now, I don't know. That's questions to ask them.
How about let's say these guys are listening. What would you say, Erik? Is like, hey, if you come train with me, expect this.
Expect you're not going to get yelled at, and that's it. Like, if you're getting yelled at, it's because I see such a high potential in them. So if you are ever in a ring with me and you're training with me, I'm going to be hard on you because I already see what you can do. Like, even wrestlers that I've gotten to face, you know, King Cobra, Elijah, you know, I think I was his third match ever, but I heard he was trained by, you know, Seth Rollins, you know, over in Black and Brave. So I'm like, okay. So I thought, I'm going to have a great match with this guy. So at some point I had him in a move and he flinched, he freaked out. I'm like, what are you doing? I was going to like flip him onto his feet, tell him, you know, give me a kick, give me a sweet kick after that, you know, and he wasn't comfortable. And I got frustrated, but not mad. I just got frustrated because I'm like, no, how dare you? I know you can do it. So we did it before the show even opened up, and he was like, oh, wow. And I'm like, you see? So a lot of guys get the misunderstanding of thinking, why is this guy being an ass to me? It's like, no, it's because I already know you can do it. Just like if we've ever worked together and I've told you, hey, I think I want to take this from you, and you're like, oh, I don't know, man. I'm like, no, trust me. And then it goes off and you're like, hey. So that's like a curse and a blessing. Like, I see what these guys can do just by looking at them. I do judge books by the covers, but because I know what I know they can do. So when they train with me, I push them to where I know that their limit is, and then I try to surpass that so then they can improve.
And that's the thing with Erik that I've noticed, is that he's very passionate about what it is that he does. Mm-hmm. And I mean, hell, like he mentioned, the Tony Strongs, the Michael Autumns, like there's a list of guys who made a name for themselves here in the Valley, who were trained under Erik, under Chance, under Knight, and these guys had just come in. However, that to me talks a lot about the people who trained you, which, you know, unfortunately we've had our ups and downs with these folks, but they were always there's always going to be a place of respect for what they've done for us.
I always give them credit, even you included. I've mentioned you in other interviews.
Thank you, man.
As well. Like, even though you weren't there all the time,
I wasn't the hands-on.
But when you were there, I still took it in, no matter how small it was. So I will give credit where credit is due, and you have been among those names.
Thank you, man.
And especially even after starting, I do look to you, like, just the way you present yourself and carry yourself. I'm like, okay, take note. So you still, even though you weren't there in ring training, you're still training me and others by them watching you. Like, okay, that's where he's at. That's what he's doing. Okay, gotcha.
Thank you, man.
So training isn't just in the ring. It's business. It's at work. It's off work. It's at home. It never stops, to be honest.
No, clearly, you're a very disciplined guy, dude. Like, and that's the one thing. Like he mentioned earlier, how people sometimes graduate and then don't go to training. We saw a lot of that, and he just mentioned, like, I wasn't there all the time. He was there all the time, and I can vouch for that. Like, I knew that enough because we had this group chat, and all the time be like, "Hey, where y'all at? Where's everybody at?" And then they would send pictures, or the times that I would go, I would see how intense they would train. And it was fun, man. Like, it was great seeing you guys come up. And I don't think I ever said this, but I think now is an appropriate time for me to say how proud I am of you for stepping up at that time. And even now in today's world, dude, like with what you're doing now, I've seen you come in, and I see where you are now. I can tell you man to man that I'm very proud of you, dude.
Thank you, bro. That means a lot to me. Wow.
Man, that's nice.
I'm a big softie.
Don't get me, man. I will tear up right now.
No, dude. Think about it, man. Like, think of all the stuff that we've been through. You and I, we wrestled each other in Rio Grande City. Yeah. And it was a 1-on-1 part of the Lionheart tournament. And I booked that shit. And I booked myself. I booked myself to go over on Erik Shadows. And why? Because the main event was going to be myself from Roma here in Rio Grande City versus Colvin from Rio Grande City. Mm-hmm. But even that one I was going to win. No, I'm just kidding. No, Colvin was going to beat me. And I was like, I don't want him to beat me. That wasn't it either. During the match, the crowd was so in favor of Shadows. It went completely against what I thought was going to happen. I thought, I'm one of the hometown folks. Like, they're going to cheer me more than everybody. You know, I've got the charisma. I've got this. I've got that. No, dude. Erik went out there and was whooping my ass, and I was whooping his ass, and the people wanted him to whoop my ass even more.
Yeah, I remember I got so mad at you. I think he had covered me, and I think you said, hey, kick out.
Kick out.
I was like, okay.
I hit you with my finisher, and I said, kick out.
And I was like, no. You were like, you better kick out. And I think he pulled my leg, and then, like, he flinched, and, like,
ref stopped.
I had to go with him. I was like, what? And the ref stopped. And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, nah, it's you, Wade. It's you. I'm like, don't do this. And he's like, no, it's you. I was like, God damn it.
You hit me with your finisher, and then we're telling the ref, count to three, and she doesn't. And so then I was mad. I was like, fuck. I was like, what do we do? Give me a...
I was like, now it's awkward. Damn it.
I said, give me a...
But the crowd was still into it.
It was the Spanish Fly, but I didn't know the name. But I kept telling you, give me downfalls move. Give me downfalls move.
Yeah, so
and you're like, Spanish Fly? I was like, yes. All right. You set me up for it on top.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3. And I was like, fuck. And like, I was still mad getting my hand picked up. And then the crowd was like, yeah. I was like, okay, yeah, fine. And then I was in the back. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, nah, man, nah, that was you.
The crowd wanted him. Yeah. The crowd wanted him to win. And it was so obvious that I'm like, why are we pretending like this isn't happening? We have to give them what they want. We did it, and they were happy with it. And he and Colvin killed it in that main spot. And that was I think that might have been the last Lionheart tournament that we did. But that was fun.
Yeah, that was the first one. wasn't it?
Okay, then we've done 2 or 3 after. One after that, I think.
No, I mean we had a lot of them.
Did we? Oh, they carried on at Cine.
It was a yearly thing at Cine.
I wasn't there for those because I created it for JC and I created it for the Rio Grande, the Stark County
Festival
Fair.
Yeah,
the Stark County Fair.
Uh-huh.
But no, I guess I missed out on those other ones too.
No, I mean you were there. You just probably forgot. Like
I probably forgot.
Yeah, you just like, just another tournament. Like no, like it was a yearly thing for the.
We had made shirts for everybody too.
I actually don't. I still have.
Do you still have it?
You still have a lot of them. Yes.
It's got to be somewhere unless it got donated. But
I know where they are.
The
I
Lionheart
found it at the Goodwill.
You will find some shirts at the Goodwill with Jesse, him,
Funny
and
story
Matt,
about that.
like all shirtless. That I have that shirt. I love that shirt so much.
Funny story about it. Anyways, but yeah, no. What happened? It's like I remember the logo. It was like 2 lions. Well, mine faded, but like
they were all faded already.
Yeah, the sticker faded, and like I cut the sleeves out so I can like work out with it or like do yard work or whatever.
He still has it.
It's somewhere.
You got to post a picture and tag us, man. Tag the podcast and we'll share it.
I will. I hope I still have it. I hope to God it's somewhere there. But yeah.
Fun times.
Oh, good. Yeah. But I remember I was so upset at you. I was like, no, this is your time. This is your people. But yeah, I should, yeah.
It was a good time. And honestly, I think that might have been one of the first times that I called an audible in the ring. And I was so glad that it happened. And after that, it just became easier. Like, it almost felt like, man, we have more control during matches than we give ourselves credit for.
Yeah.
But that was a good one.
Vic steals Dom. Fuck, marry, kill. But Alvaro wants to do a PG version.
Yeah, because I'm nice.
He wants you to do wrestle, tag team, or stiff.
Okay. But can we do the other version too?
Yeah, let's do both.
Let's do both.
Why not? It's the same thing.
Okay, so which one do we do first?
Let's do the dirty one.
Let's do
the one that makes me uncomfortable.
Let's do it. Let's spice some feathers. Okay, so give me the names.
Vic steals.
Vicious Vic.
Steals and Dom.
Okay.
I already know what he's gonna say.
I'd probably fuck Chris.
Why?
Marry Vic.
Ta chiquito.
Because he's so tiny and I love him.
Explain your answer.
Chris is a pretty boy. Vic's a keeper. I'd marry him. Kill Dom.
Aw.
I would have been if Steels would have been out. It would have been fuck Dom. It would have been fuck Dom, marry Vic, kill whoever else.
But that's the only.
But you put the love guns in there, and I don't know. I would flip a coin. Honestly, I take it back now. I would flip a coin. I would marry Vic. I would flip a coin and either fuck Dom or Chris, depending on where it lands.
I love the thought process.
Kill the other. I love all 3 of them. I would do things.
Fuck all 3.
Marry all 3? Oh, I mean, yes.
That's very possible.
It's Pride Month.
That's right.
Yes, wait, it is?
Yes.
It's Pride Month.
I was like, yes, acabó, okay.
It's June.
What happened to men's mental health awareness?
It's also that.
That was May.
That was May?
Yeah.
That was May. It's gonna be May.
Okay, so someone asked, tell us about your hometown and what it means to you.
So...
Not in the Valley?
Yeah, no. I love the Valley. So, like, Chicago, Illinois, my family originated from there. But I honestly was kind of blessed not to come up there because, like, I hate big cities. And at the time, there was a lot of bad gang activity there. I don't remember being there as a kid. I just remember being here, like my core memories and whatnot. But my brother told me enough where he's like, nah, bro, there's no way we would have been able to live up there. It was just bad. We were stuck in between 2 gangs. We lived on Western and Taylor. That was the little town, like a little streets, the corner that we were at. And we were stuck between 2 gangs. So they were constantly battling it out. And hometown, I would respect it more towards the Valley now. I appreciate the people, the raza, you know.
The raza.
Anytime I'm anywhere, and she knows this, it's not that I'm racist. I just feel very uncomfortable around white people, you know. And I love them. I have a lot, and I sound like a typical race. I don't care if you're purple, blue, yellow. no, but it's just being around like our people. And I know this sounds bad, so everybody hear me out. It just feels like home when I'm around, you know. But like I love all types of cultures. Like I've been to Austin, and I actually wanted to move to Austin. But you know how the classic slogan, "Oh, keep Austin weird." It's a little too weird for me. So it's a little too noisy. Like I love the concerts. I love the vibe. I love 6th Street. I love how everybody's there, and I love the differences in like cultures there. Like it's like a whole new world there. But I'm like, it's too noisy. So I look at the Valley like a place where it's easy to live here and travel out and then come back and be comfortable. I love it here. I love the people here. I love the culture. Yeah, we have some things we can work on, but it's the generations, I guess. But the current where I'm at, I love it. I love it here.
If I can piggyback on that, like traveling now with work and whatnot, like I've come to appreciate where I live a lot more.
Right.
It almost feels like the Valley is that bedroom that you're growing up in. And whenever you're tired of, you just get home from school, you're tired of being around people, your social battery is low. You go into your bedroom. That's what the Valley is for me. So when I'm done working, I come home and I enjoy it here. We've talked about moving, but like just talked about it.
Same.
And we're always excited about the possibility, but deep down, I feel that we know that this is home.
Every time you travel, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this is what I love about you, man, because, wow, that was beautifully put, because that's how I learned, fuck moving. Because I think when me and Matt started getting up to Inspire up in Austin, and I was like, hanging with Vic a lot because he had just moved over there. And I was thinking, man, I can see us up here, man. What, are you down? He's like, dude, you tell me when, let's go. But then going up almost every weekend, every other weekend, or like maybe twice or once a month, depending on where we were. And I'm like, nah, this is a little too much. Like, and then getting back home and just feeling that little like, all right, like I'm pretty sure you feel it, especially all that noise that you're around. And then you come to this, like, this is beautiful, man.
We like it.
You have any other questions, my love?
Yes. Someone asked, how many names did you go through before you settled with Erik Shadows?
Okay. Well, like I said, it was Shadows. And from there, it went to Erik Shadows. But I had a thing. And I would bust people's balls at times. Like, they would ask me, like, oh, so, like, what's the E stand for? And I'm like, Ernest Shadows.
That'd be a cool name.
Every Shadows. And they're like, what? And I was like, I'm just messing. It's just my first name. And they're like, why don't you just do Erik Shadows? I'm like, it feels a little weird. But maybe when I win a big title, I'll change it. And it did. And I think it's when I became a Grand Warrior.
Yeah.
And then they presented me with a gold one. You remember? You were the last one to hold it, right?
Yeah, I was.
Hey, look, the first and last to hold it. That's where I was like, okay, I'm going to now go professional. Erik Shadows. And then I remember I was starting to push Matt to change his name because he was going by Downfall.
Yeah.
And I would tell him, because we were starting to get booked and like, Inspire and all that. And like, oh, Erik Shadows and Downfall. I was like, it doesn't look right. It doesn't sound right. And he was like, stop. It's fine. I was like, no, dude, you need to change it. And
he wasn't concerned. He was having fun.
Yeah. And he's like, I like Riot. I was like, cool. So like Matt Riot? And he's like, nah, just Riot. I was like Venom's counterpart, god damn it, man. Like, and then he's like, nah, it sounds cool. And I was like, and then he's thought about it, he's like, that actually does sound kind of cool. Matt Riot, and here he is today. So,
dude, it stuck.
Yeah. So I think we both just went through one name change. It was just Shadows, Erik Shadows.
And what about the Wolf King?
So the whole wolf thing just started because of one fan. He pointed, it's like Alvaro said, like when I'm in there, I go at it a certain way, and one of the fans I think I was in San Antonio, and I was selling a shirt, and this one man, I can't remember his name. I'm bad with names anyways. He said, man, every time you come up, I look forward to your match. I was like, oh, thank you. Like, that's one of my goals is to be remembered like that. And he's like, nah, it's like you fight like a wolf in there, man. And like, I think he went off because of like my tattoos. And he's like, is that why you have your tattoos like that? I was like, oh, well, I mean, wolves are like my favorite animal. I just like the way they are, like the aggression, the way they are as a pack, the way they work as a team. But no, he's like, you're like, like some kind of chaotic wolf or whatever. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute. Because I had like the Star of Chaos like on my gear or whatever. And I'm like, Wolf of Chaos? So I tried it on. It stuck. And then I think I tried other names like Wolf of the Revolution. And then I just went back to Wolf of Chaos. And then prior to COVID, and I think it was a little bit after like the Lucha thing was happening. Because like in 2019, I just tried to focus on nothing but Lucha. Mexico, the Lucha game around here. And I'm glad I did that. It gave me a whole new perspective. But Wolf King, I don't even know when it started. Was I already doing that?
Yeah.
before that?
Yeah,
I
a
remember
little
when.
bit. It wasn't very much.
Yeah.
So this is like around 2019?
2018
18?
maybe. Yeah. I remember Jeremy screaming it. So you know what? I think it was in 2018 is when it started. I don't know how it switched to that, but like somebody again, like they yelled in the crowd, like, I was like, "That's the Wolf King right there," and I was like, "That sounds cool." And then they got kicked, and I was like, "I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use that." And then it stuck to there. Here I am today, still there.
The Wolf King.
Yeah.
I think we're just about ready to wrap it up.
Okay.
And we would love to have you back, man. I know that there's still so many things that we
can
have
still
yet to
cover a
touch
lot.
on, and it happens every time. It happens every time. Like we have guests, and we're talking and talking and talking. There's so much more left. Pero we like to leave. We like to end the episodes with a toast, and this toast can be to anyone or anything within wrestling, outside of wrestling. Just you showing gratitude, man. Like anyone, anything that you're grateful for.
I'm gonna toast to you guys. Thank you for having me, and to all of my brothers and sisters in the game. My lovely woman, Melody.
Thank you.
My Mel.
Your Mel.
And all of my brothers that have been through this journey, and even to the ones that are no longer around. I still toast to them.
Salud.
Always away with words.
Salud.
Well, thank you, man. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another edition of Lucha por Lucha with Erik Shadows and his Melody.
Yes.
Thank you for having us, guys.
Bye, guys.
Always a pleasure.